Hello, you're most welcome. This is OGTV News, coming to you live from our studios in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. We are on 260 on DSTV, 100 on GoTV, and 25 UHF. I am Mojisola Shulaja. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo launches Solar Power Niger program in Jigawa State. Acting IGP Usman Baba redeploys commanders. Others, as Senate President, calls for more funding for security agencies. Naira for dollar policy yields results with increase in foreign reserves. Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, passes on at 99. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other.
Coming up on sports, Team Ogun wins 5 gold medals at National Sports Festival. Details of these and other stories coming your way on the sports segment of the news. I am Emmanuel Dasaudu.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has launched the Solar Power Niger program in Jigawa State, commencing with the Jangefe community, which will get 1,000 solar home systems. The event is in pursuit of the Economic Sustainability Plan, midwifed by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. The ESP is chaired by the Vice President. The installation in Jigawa is part of a 100,000 scheme with A Solar, a local solar power company implementing part of the ESP Solar Power Niger's planned 5 million connections across the country. The Ministry of Power, through the Rural Electrification Agency, is the implementing agency for the 5 million off-grid solar connections program. The program provides 140 billion naira in concessionary financing from the Central Bank of Nigeria and commercial banks for off-grid developers to roll out mini-grids and solar home systems that will cost from 3,000 naira per month and up, depending on system type, to provide electricity to locations all across the country. The issue of national integration and peaceful coexistence in Nigeria has been a national discourse in the country since our independence in 1960. Despite global states' adoption of the constitutional principle of unity in diversity among nations, national integration remains a major challenge to most countries, including Nigeria. Benga Adekoya in this report takes a look at prospects and challenges of national integration and the way forward.
The state of national integration in Nigeria has been under persistent negative influence of the issues of insecurity, which is now rampant in all the geopolitical zones of the country. Nigeria, as a country with multi-ethnic background and different cultural diversities, must strive and work hard to remain united in fulfilling one of the major purposes of our founding fathers.
They have their motive and the positive reason of bringing us together as a nation. But looking back to this present situation, we find out that the aims and objective has not been 100% fulfilled.
The purpose it was established for, we have to be sincere that we are not expecting perfection. We are not expecting 100%. To a large extent, we have been able to achieve some, although there are some challenges.
To me, it has not really fulfilled its aim of its establishment, because Nigeria is yet to become a nation state where tribal sentiments has been buried. For as long as we continue to fan the ember of tribe, we will find it extremely difficult to integrate.
To some respondents, the National Youth Service Corps, which was established in 1973, has no doubt played a great role in uniting the nation.
It's one of it. We have people who came to serve from other states They are in Ogun State, and they are in Ogun State permanently living here.
When a man from Anambra traveled down to Ogun State to visit tourism movement to Olumorok, it brings us together as a nation, it brings us together as a people.
Looking at the prospects and challenges of the national integration, Nigerians, especially political office holders, were charged to always put the issue of national interest at first in all aspects.
We need to have freedom of association, freedom of assembly as it has been enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. So I think we can still continue to live in harmony and peace as a nation.
The entire citizenry were, however, admonished to always show love to one another and continue to live in peace and harmony. Benga Adekoya, OGTV News.
And now to politics. The Ijebu East chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has congratulated the Ogun State chairman of the party, Chief Yemi Sanusi, and Publicity Secretary, Comrade Tunde Olatunjoyi, on their appointment into the Governing Council of Federal Polytechnic, Ukana, Akwa Ibom State. The party also thanked President Muhammadu Buhari and Ogun State Governor Prince Tako Abiodun for honoring the duo, describing the appointment as well-deserved. A statement by APC Chairman Ijebu East Local Government, Otumba Adebayo Balogun, said the feat is a clear manifestation of Chief Sanusi and Comrade Olatunjoyi's consistency in moving the party forward and for being shining light to others. Honorable Igbalaye Wasiu Ayodele, popularly called Iwa, has been formally received into the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Abeokuta South local government area of Ogun State. Honorable Ayodele was presented with the symbol of the party by the party's chairman and the local government, Honorable Henry Fagberu, on behalf of the state chairman and the presence of party leaders in the council area. Matthew Shomi reports.
Honorable Igbalaye Wasiu Ayomide joined the fold of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State alongside his supporters with formal presentation of the symbols of the party in Abeokuta South local government area. Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Afuakpe, described the defection as a big addition to the party as the only formidable force in the state, while he encouraged members of the party to welcome the new entrants wholeheartedly, promising a level playing field for all.
It's an added advantage to us. You know, there's one and only party in Ogun State. There's no any other party. If you see the influx of people coming to this party today, because of the performance of our governor, Prince Dr. Tako Abiodun.
Chairman of the party in the council area, Honorable Henry Fagberu, said the new members have seen the light through what they described as the impressive performance of the party in the state and have decided to come in and contribute their quota.
With this crowd, with what is on the ground before, then where is the other party?
Leaders of the party described the defection as a great boost to the capacity of the party to win more elections in the council area and the states.
All they need to do is to join their various wards. Apart from coming for the declaration today, they should go to their different wards and be part of the meetings and decisions there.
Big gangs from every party has been defecting to APC. As such, we know that victory is our own.
Addressing the people, Honorable Igbalaye Wasiu Ayomide promised to continue to serve the people and complement the efforts of the government to further put smiles on their faces.
Ogun State generally, there is nothing like two parties in Ogun State. We only have one party. Starting from, let's say, from 1999, our former governor, Baba Oshoma, was in APC now. And also our former governor in 2003 or 2011, Otumba Gbengana, is also in APC. So I have to decide because there is no other party in Ogun State except APC. APC is one, and Ogun State is one party now.
He called on his followers to be prepared to work for the success of the party at the coming polls. Matthew Shomi, OGTV News.
From politics, we'll move to education. Teachers' motivation provides the desire in students to learn, express themselves, acquire ideas, skills, and concepts for total development. In this special report, Margaret Okunlola x-rays the impact of teachers' motivation on students' academic performance. Her report.
Motivation is an important predictor for learning and achievement. It has a direct impact on how individuals learn. It is also a driving factor for taking actions and achieving goals. The roles of teachers on the academic performance of students cannot be overemphasized, as they uphold and improve the education sector by impacting knowledge on students in all aspects. Respondent, who spoke with OGTV News, explained the unquantifiable roles of teachers.
The role of the teachers, they are very, very enormous. The roles of the teacher, because they have the duty to perform in the life of the student, it's in the area of discharging his or her duty, like imparting knowledge.
They further stated the various means by which teachers can be motivated.
As we all know, that where we have incentives, reinforcement, and reinforcer, the output tends to be greater than when all those things are missing.
Condition of service, whether it's in the payment, whether it's in the remuneration, whether it's in the continuous development, sending them on to gain more knowledge.
It is not only monetarily that you can motivate people. Your learning environment is very, very essential.
When I talk about this motivation, is not in terms of a monetary aspect alone. Other thing, what about the recognition in the society?
To what extent can teachers' motivation affect students' academic performance?
They have to make teacher to make himself available to the student, they are accessible to the student. When the teacher sees the student has a problem, that because of the motivation, because of his or her disposition, he will be able to handle the student very well. And then when the students, when they are comfortable with the teacher, they say, okay, this one person, because they have a lot of challenges, when they see teacher that this one can solve my problem, that will make them to go to the teacher, and the teacher will be able to handle them.
If we are highly motivated, then the level of efficiency will be very, very high. If you are motivated, you give out your best. You can even go extra mile to ensure that you achieve the objective of impacting knowledge on the students.
Stating the huge effect of teachers' motivation on students' academic performance, respondents called on parents, students, and the society at large to join the government in motivating teachers for improvement and development of the education sector. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
The West African Examinations Council, WAEC Nigeria, says the 2021 West African Senior School Certificate Examination will commence in August and not May. WAEC also debunked reports by some news platforms that it postponed the examination. In a statement on Friday, Acting Head, Public Affairs, WAEC Nigeria, Timianus Ojujiogu, said WAEC Nigeria Head Patrick Aregan was quoted out of context at a briefing on Tuesday when he announced the release of results of WASC for private candidates. According to Ojujiogu, Aregan said the realities of the COVID-19 pandemic has distorted the academic calendars of schools. Hence, it will be impossible for candidates to sit for the examination in May because most of the schools are still in their first term. The statement added that the arrangement is in line with the current academic calendar and was done in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Education. Ogun State government has approved the administration of COVID-19 vaccine for intended pilgrims in accordance with the Directive of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACAN, as a requirement for 2021 Hajj. Intended pilgrims are directed to visit the board secretariat complex, Block B, Okemoson, Abeokuta, with the payment receipt for the purpose of identification and clearance before the administration of the vaccine. The vaccination is scheduled for Saturday 10th and Sunday 11th April 2021, starting at 9 in the morning. Those who have been vaccinated at their local government areas do not need to repeat the first dose, but will be required to bring the vaccination card for necessary documentation. Participants are urged to obey COVID-19 safety protocols by using their face mask. The 46th President Party and investiture for year 2021 edition of Abeokuta Club will feature the investiture of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo as trustee and conferment of late Chief MKO Abiola as vice patron posthumous of the club. The General Secretary, Abeokuta Club, Chief Sheson Okutoro, in a statement, said the event is scheduled for Sunday, 11th April 2021 at the Abeokuta Club Millennium Hall, commencing at 12 noon. According to the statement, the ceremony would attract dignitaries from all walks of life. Eminent personalities expected at the ceremony include Honorary Patron of the club and Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, Grand Patron Alake and Paramount Ruler of Egbaland, and other sectional royal fathers in Egbaland, while a prominent member of the club, evangelist Ebenezer Obi, will be on the bandstand. The linkage of all railway tracks to people across the country progresses closer, with funds available to kickstart the construction of more standard and narrow gauge tracks. The minister said this while addressing the media on the activities of the ministry and its agencies. It is the Ministry of Transportation annual ministerial press briefing, and all chief executive of the agencies under the ministry was reached with the man handling the management of national information attending. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi began with the railway sector, why the services is rendered, and the Kaduna, Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, and Warri standard gauge rail line. He said they are saving costs in troubled times. In the Nigeria Port Authority, NIMASA, and several agencies of the ministry attest to the success story. As the Minister of Information says, this solidifies the legacies of the Buhari administration. The annual ministerial press briefing has been a platform where the ministry opens its doors to media and other stakeholders in order to exchange ideas.
To fly from either Benin or Warri will cost you 60,000 naira. Road transport will cost you about 20. But if you go by rail, 6,000 to get Abuja, 6,000. 2,500 from Warri to Itabe by rail, and then 3,500 by road transport, which is gotten at the rail station. The air-conditioned buses or air-conditioned taxis will take you to Abuja at 3,500. So if you put the 2,500 plus 2,500, 6,000, which is cheaper than any other means.
We are very proud to be associated with the Ministry of Transportation. Thank you very much.
Still ahead, Senate Committee folds conversion of Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to Steering Committee. Details and more shortly.
The Ogun State government, under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun MFR, in its efforts to plan for housing and infrastructure requirements, road, urban and rural renewal projects, water, rural electrification, and many more, is embarking on a property enumeration drive across the state. The project will assist the government in ascertaining the key areas to be fixed in ensuring an equitable distribution of all projects and infrastructure. This is to implore all residents and business owners to cooperate with the enumerators as they visit all houses, business buildings to capture data. Kindly provide all necessary information to our enumerators, who will be having on them verifiable means of identification. Ogun State, building our future together. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni. Announcer, Ministry of Finance.
You're still watching OGTV News. The federal government has reiterated commitment towards managing emerging environmental challenges across the country. Minister of Environment Muhammad Abubakar disclosed this at the 14th meeting of the National Council on Environment in Abuja. The minister said the theme, Managing Emerging Environmental Challenges, was strategically chosen to reflect the consequences of the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic and eradicate the current environmental challenges confronting the country. Abubakar stated that the 2021 Global Risk Report recently published is a clarion call to innovatively take a transformative action as it relates to the ecosystem.
Managing emerging environmental challenges need for strategic approach to sustainable development in COVID-19 era and beyond was carefully chosen to reflect the reality of the dreaded COVID-19 in its consequences and the compelling need to devise feasible strategy to manage and sustain our social, economic, and environmental recovery effort. As witnessed by the commendable recovery of the economy from recession recently. For this, I must give Mr. President kudos and his cabinet for the feat achieved.
The Minister of State, Ministry of Environment, Sharon Ikiazo, also said the environment, which provides life support system for human existence and survival, must be secured to guarantee human health. She further noted that to ameliorate the country's environmental hazards, stakeholders must collaborate with the federal government.
We cannot guarantee human health. So the One Health approach is of utmost importance in all we do. Other ameliorative strategies are environmental sanitation, risk assessment mapping, risk management, environmental monitoring, mitigation of climate change, promulgation and implementation of environmental policies, the use of alternative sources of power as well as environmental impact assessment. All these require a collaborative effort of all stakeholders in the environment.
The House of Representatives Committee on Healthcare Services on Friday held a marathon meeting with the federal government and leadership of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, as well as other stakeholders, over the ongoing nationwide strike by doctors. After the closed-door meeting that lasted 5 hours, the committee and the Federal Ministry of Health pleaded with the doctors to suspend their industrial action in the interest of the poor masses who cannot afford health services in private facilities. Chairman of the committee, Tanko Sununu, while briefing journalists after the meeting, disclosed that the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, is to meet with the leadership of the National Association of Resident Doctors on Tuesday in the efforts by the lawmakers to resolve the dispute between the government and the doctors. Senate Committee on Health has faltered the conversion of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to a Presidential Steering Committee by the federal government without consultation with the National Assembly. This came as the committee expressed surprise that the National Association of Resident Doctors embarked on the proposed strike, despite what the federal government had done in meeting their demands. Chairman of the committee, Senator Yahya Ibrahim Oloriegbe, stated this during a public hearing on a bill titled Federal Medical Center, Mubi Adamawa State Establishment Bill 2021 in Abuja. Oloriegbe's comment on the conversion of the PTF to a steering committee on COVID-19 followed the submission of the ministry on bills either seeking to establish or upgrade existing healthcare facilities to tertiary institutions. The ministry had in its memorandum to the committee kicked against the proposed upgrading of a general hospital in Mubi, Adamawa State to a federal medical center. It claimed that there was already a teaching hospital in the state. Senate President Ahmed Lawan has called for increased funding for security agencies in the wake of incessant attacks on federal government facilities in Imo State. Lawan, who spoke on Friday in Owerri, the Imo State capital, while commissioning the Akachi Road constructed by the Governor Hope Uzodinma-led administration, said that there was hope for the country. He advocated for increased funding for security agencies in the country to procure adequate technologies and manpower needed to combat crime in the country, in line with global best practices. While condemning the recent attacks on police stations in the state and the illegal release of inmates at the Owerri Correctional Service by gunmen on Monday, Lawan insisted that security agencies needed more funding from the federal government. The Senate President pledged that the National Assembly will continue to enact laws that will make the security agents have edge over insurgents. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Mr. Usman Baba, says there is a critical security situation in the southeast and south-south geopolitical zones of the country. Baba disclosed this on Friday in Abuja at the opening of a meeting with police strategic commanders in the zones. He said the meeting was aimed at discussing security issues affecting the two regions of the country in order to resolve them. According to Baba, after the meeting, the commanders will go back to their zones to implement the outcome of the meeting. The IGP said the challenges would require the force to rejig its operational strategies to ensure that the issues were nipped in the bud immediately. He said calling a larger meeting of all commissioners of police and other senior officers will not be right at the moment because of COVID-19 protocols. While the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, on Friday announced new postings, appointments, and reappointments of top police commanders, the IGP, in a statement signed by First Public Relations Officer CP Frank Mba, announced the posting of AIG Afiz Inuwa as the first secretary and member of the first management team. AIG Dandaura moves to Zone 7 headquarters. The IGP also approved the reappointment of CP Frank Mba and CP Idowu Owohunwa as the first public relations officer and principal staff officer to the IGP, respectively. Inuwa takes over from AIG Mustafa Dandaura, who has been redeployed to Zone 7 Police Headquarters, Abuja. Prior to his appointment as the first secretary, Inuwa was the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 13, Okpo Danukofia in Oka, Anambra State, covering Anambra and Enugu State Police Commands. The senior police officers are expected to bring their professional and intellectual exposure to bear in assisting the IGP and his management team in developing, implementing strategic policies and plans, all directed at stabilizing internal security, modernizing police operations, and restoring police primary policies and the protection of lives and property of citizens. The appointments, postings of the senior officers and personal aides takes immediate effect. The Imo State Commissioner of Police, Nasiru Muhammad, and his top officers have been booted out following Monday's attack on the State Police Headquarters and the Nigerian Custodial Center, which led to the release of 600 suspects and 1,884 inmates from the correctional facility. Muhammad was removed alongside the Deputy Commissioner Operations, Ilyasu Yaya, and Assistant Commissioner Operations, James Aikai, by the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu. Adamu was also relieved of his appointment by the presidency, while at the scene of the attack announced the removal of the 3 officers while addressing the men of the command. A senior police officer said the CP was found to have neglected to ask for reinforcement from Mobile Police Squadrons 18 and 64 and the military during the attack carried out by suspected indigenous people of Biafra members. The security source stated that apart from failing to act on the intelligence provided to him about 2 weeks ago, The CP also failed to draft the mobile police force on standby during the attack. These were PMF squadrons 18 and 64 in the state, but the commissioner did not signal any of them to assist in repelling the attack. This is gross negligence. The source said investigations had confirmed that IPOB carried out the attack in a move to rescue some of the top commanders and chief priests arrested by the police last month. It added that they were not aware that the 16th suspect had been moved to Abuja, so they attacked the CID with the intention of rescuing the men. There was pandemonium at the Bauchi Custodial Center on Friday following an attempted jailbreak. The quick intervention of armed personnel of the service attached to the center immediately averted the incident. 2 personnel of the correctional service sustained varying degrees of injuries. The injured are said to be presently receiving treatment at an undisclosed hospital within the Bauchi metropolis. The public relations officer of Bauchi Command of the NCS, Abubakar Al-Gawari, said the situation has been put under control as all inmates have been put back into their respective cells. A 36-year-old Islamic cleric, Amadou Jamiu, was on the 5th of April 2021 arrested for abducting a 15-year-old in an attempt to use the girl for ritual. The self-acclaimed cleric was arrested following a report lodged at Sango Divisional Headquarters by the victim, who reported that while she was coming from her place of work at about 5:30 in the evening, she was accosted by the suspect, who lured her into an uncompleted building after touching her with an object. She stated further that on getting to the building, the suspect stripped her naked and used a white handkerchief to rub her private parts, as well as all over her body. It was a Good Samaritan who, unknown to the suspect, was watching the whole incident that came to her rescue as she had become unconscious. Upon the reports, the DPO Sango Division detailed his detectives to go after the suspect, which led to his arrest. On interrogation, the suspect confessed that he had the intention of afflicting the victim with a sickness which will enable him extort a parent of huge amount of money, having successfully done it to 2 different persons in the past. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, CP Edward Ajogun, had ordered the transfer of the case to the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department for further investigation and possible prosecution. It's now time to bring you glimpses. After being rumored dead more than 2 times in year 2020, Juju music legend Chief Ebenezer Obi Fabiyi recently clocked 79 years of age. Glimpses today beams its searchlight on this man and his music career, which has made him a source of inspiration to many.